care who comes to this country. We all come to this country for the same thing, to chase our own American dream.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And for some people, it's not even that. They come over here because they have the opportunity to work here, even though they make half of. I've spoken to Mexican drivers, and they get paid about 3,000 pesos, 4,000 pesos a week, which is that is like $200 to $300 a week.
$300 a week.
Yes. So if you pay them $800 to come over here, of course they're gonna spend 2-3 months because they're gonna go back to Mexico and they're gonna. It's a lot of money. They come here, they get dollars, and they don't pay their taxes. They don't even. It's like my old man. He tells me these guys don't even shower here, dude. They don't even create revenue. They literally. I don't know if you've ever seen them, because I have. They bring their buckets and like. I don't care, like anybody can do whatever they want. But it goes to show that they will save every penny they can to take it back to Mexico, which is fine. They should make a living too. Everybody should make a living. Everybody's entitled to that. But it shouldn't be at the cost of another person's livelihood.
Look at these guys right here. We're hanging out here at this broker carrier summit, and I see some carriers over here. So I gotta talk to my guys. You know what I'm saying? And so, we're gonna keep this an anonymous show as of right now because this is a serious topic that a lot of people are a little bit afraid, I would say, to speak up on. But there's some truth, and we gotta get both sides. So, I appreciate you guys both for just sitting down with me. But the concern is, there's people out there that say, man, a lot of these foreign drivers are watering down the rates, but that they just do the blame game. But there's not anything more to that. You guys are actually near the border, and so let's have a conversation. So anyone that wants to talk, I'm just going to, whoever wants to talk, man, say what's up, and then, you can just hold up just like that, and you don't have to talk that, you can just talk just like that.
Yeah, man, so what we're seeing right now, what is our concern is exactly that a lot of these drivers aren't held to the same standards that we are out here in the States. Some of these carriers, whether they're American or actually Mexican, they're bringing foreign drivers in, and I think it's not just Mexicans, right? But they're doing things in a manner where most Americans can't compete, especially American companies, carriers specifically, like us. We've seen firsthand experience or heard or spoken with people who tell us that they get paid maybe $60, $100 a day for maybe some short hauls, or $150 to $200 a day for some long hauls where they come into the country and work for 2-3 months at a time and then go home, and so we try to do everything by the book. We try to abide by all of the laws, pay our taxes, do everything, and this negatively affects us as a whole, and as a byproduct of everything. We feel like a lot of these drivers, and so we all want to provide, right? But a lot of this money is going back to Mexico. It's not staying in our country. I'm pretty sure, I don't know how the taxes work. I don't know how the vetting and all the, training and stuff goes with these drivers, but we feel like it's a hazard. Most people don't even speak the language, and we're seeing everybody working with these people, right? There's shippers that are conscious of it, there's brokers that are conscious of it, and there's obviously carriers that are executing on doing these things, right? And so apart from watering down rates because we can't compete, we have to pay somebody an American wage so that they could live and pay their taxes and take care of their family. We can't compete with somebody who is going to pay probably less than half of what we would have to pay somebody for the same job, and so somebody that could charge $2 for something that we have to charge $3 to make the same profit margin is obviously something we can't compete with. And we're seeing this across the board. We spend a lot of time down in Laredo, Texas. What we're seeing down in Laredo, Texas is drivers have told us that they're American drivers They speak the English. They speak the language well. They have their American license. They abide American laws. They may pay American taxes, and they go to these companies that are hiring down in by the border, and they prefer B1 drivers, right? So the B1 might make you a little bit more legal, but most of the time they don't even have visas or B1 visas.
They're just till they get caught.
Yes, they're doing things till they get caught, and by the looks of it, a lot of these carriers are not getting caught. You know, sometimes they'll wait until weigh stations are closed. Not all weigh stations are open 24 hours. The vast majority aren't open 24 hours. There's just a lot of loopholes and things. I feel like the DOT doesn't even focus on these drivers to begin with. Like, they just don't want to deal with the language barrier and things of that nature. And they'll look at us and they go in pretty hard on us. You know what I mean? Like, they just the other day they put us out of service because my driver's tire was getting flat, which in part was all right because he should be checking those kinds of things, and it could have probably led to a blowout down the road or something like that. But he also put us in violation for a ABS sticker that we're struggling to get, and some ridiculous stuff, right? Which is kind of normal with like newbies, I guess you could say. Like, it's like a new cop. They're gonna,
Finding you for everything.
Yeah, they're finding you for everything and stuff. But
the flip side, if this was a person that was didn't speak English at all, and his truck is looking like it's about to fall apart, they just let him go. They just let him go.
Really? A lot of times. Yeah, we've seen that. Like, we've seen that. So it's just like, for us, it's not a level playing field, and that, to me, that means that a lot of American businesses, and I'm Mexican myself, a lot of American businesses, like our business, is getting drowned out by these carriers because they can operate at a probably a better profit margin than we can, and pay somebody a whole hell of a lot less for the same work.
And are these carriers out in America, or are they out back in Mexico?
They're both in America and they're both in Mexico.
Wow.
We personally know American carriers that use Mexican drivers. They bring them into the country, like I mentioned, and they have them here for 2 to 3 months at a time. Like, these are actual, like, friends that we have that like childhood friends from my dad and stuff like that, who are telling us, like, oh yeah, we work for this carrier in your hometown, and he's moving us, and they don't want to pay for us to we've told, like, we have one driver who told us, like, he was willing to pay half of whatever the cost is so that he could legally come over here and get his visa so that he could work for them, and they don't even want to do that. They'd rather just sneak him in, have him run, and then send him home. And so for them, it's a win-win, right? As a carrier, it's a win-win. I think obviously these carriers don't fear getting audited.
They're chameleons.
They're chameleons. They get shut down. I don't know. They're
UMC tomorrow.
These people have been in business for decades, right? Longer than I've been alive. So they obviously know what they're doing. But it definitely negatively affects us, and we just can't compete. And it is a very big concern to us because this is how we eat. This is how we've eaten. This is how my dad has provided for us for the past 28 years. Well, I mean 20 years because we're old. Like, we started working at some point, obviously, but I've been doing this for 6 years. We've never struggled to find work how we have recently, and we know that's a big problem. And we see freight moving. If you ask me, I see a lot of freight moving. And we know that's something that's going on. We know it's a problem for us. We know that's something we don't ever want to participate, especially not even to just compete or stay relevant. But we don't want more regulation and more pressure as a truck. We don't want that.
Because of something they're doing.
Something they're doing, right? But if you ask me, we try to play by the rules, all of them. We're not perfect, but if you like, I wouldn't mind getting audited at this point if it came to something that was specifically with regards to that. Like, okay, who's driving these trucks? Who's generating this revenue? Are they American citizen? Are they paying American taxes? Can they legally be here if they're not American citizens? And things of that nature. And so, that's really just my rant, and our problem that we're dealing with. And it's not just us. It's America as a whole. It's carriers in America as a whole. And then As we shift a lot of the like manufacturing and stuff like that to Mexico, it only makes sense that this problem is going to continually get worse.
Wow.
It's only going to get worse and worse and worse, and the people who are going to suffer the most are obviously American carriers, because you can't compete. You can't compete.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was a big thing. Like my old man, he's not a very vocal person or political or anything, but he's like, we need to do something. Like, you need to make a letter. I don't know if you got to send it to the president. I don't know who you got to, what you got to do or what we got to do, but this is bullshit, because it's exactly what it is. It's bullshit. We've done everything we can to play by the rules, to pay our taxes, to abide by the law, no matter what is imposed on us, which is a lot of bullshit sometimes too, with respect to e-logs and you know, telling a man when to work and when not to work and things of that nature. But it's unfair. They don't play by the same rules. We know they don't play by the same rules, and I would like to see something done about that. You know, I would like to see something, and this is my form of trying to get the word out there, because I know that we've had brokers tell us these foreigners are drowning everything out, and they're just like, are you guys, is the driver that you have, is he American citizen?
So it's starting to affect your business.
Yeah. So, but that's in a positive way, right? If you ask me, if the government's not going to do nothing, then I would at least like to see, you know, public and private businesses
checks and balances, right?
And them do their due diligence, how a lot of these brokers have.
Yeah.
Like they're making us jump through more hoops, but I don't care, because we could jump through those hoops. So a lot of these carriers can't.
I hear you.
And I've seen a lot of businesses who actually say, you know what, like I had some guy, he didn't even speak English. They didn't tell me this guy was coming, so I told him he had to leave. And I had him cussing me out, I had the broker cussing me out, and I had the shipper cussing me out, but I'm no longer going to work with him. To me, that's an ethical business who has some integrity, because they're not participating in a problem that could even drown them out, right? Because this is something that could boil over into all industries, and it can affect, you know, everybody involved, not just the carrier that's doing these things. And so, you know, that's pretty much it for me, you know, like, yeah, you know, I don't know if my brother wants to share anything, but yeah, but like we're on the same page here, and
hey, but he's your brother. I want him in the video. Man.
Yeah.
I got a brother too.
Oh yeah.
It's all support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. You know, so at the end of the day, I think it means something more coming from someone that's a Mexican American.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. Me being a minority, but born in America, and being Asian American. You know, sometimes when we have these topics, people go, "Man, you know, you're hating on your own people."
No.
But actually, you and I talked about that behind the scenes, and we said you actually feel bad for them because they ain't getting paid right either.
They ain't getting paid right, yeah.
You know, everybody's getting taken advantage of.
Everybody, yep.
You know, but no, I appreciate that, man.
And these are really wealthy people, man. Like, we know these carriers to some degree, almost personally, right? Like, if they saw this, they're gonna be like, this guy.
I think you're busting them up.
You know what I mean? But I mean, these guys are multimillionaires. These guys are people who go to Dubai and like who have massive ranches in Mexico and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So it's like, and their workers are getting paid trash. You know what I mean? They're getting paid trash. All we want is an even playing field where we can compete how we historically have.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
And I think this is an issue that needs to be all the way up to the president.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, if not the president, at least the Department of Transportation. You know, they probably don't even know this is going on.
Yeah, they probably don't. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I've never heard of businesses getting audited for. I mean, it's legal for Mexicans to come in with a load, and from my understanding, it's the same with Canada. Like, they can come in with loads. Tristan was telling me just how, or I forgot, maybe it wasn't Tristan actually. I was talking to some girl the other day, and she was telling me how the Canadians are doing the same thing. They're coming in, and they're not going back to their country. They're coming in, they haul freight in America, U.S. freight for a while, and then they go back home. So it's just like,
it's a big issue.
It's a big issue. You know, I can't go to Canada. Well, maybe I can go to Canada and do something similar, but there's a reason for them to come over here, and there's a reason for the Mexicans to come over here too. If I could do the same thing in Mexico, I would be in Mexico if Mexican freight, and I knew the country, and maybe if it was a little safer in terms of that and all that stuff. I would probably be in Mexico hauling freight, trying to compete with all these companies. But I mean, we can't, we don't. You know what I mean?
I like what you brought up too. Like, if all these businesses move to Mexico, no.
That's what's happening.
And trucking in America.
That's what's happening. Where we're at right now, and we've been hauling the same freight for the past 6 years, right? You're talking Daimler, anything that has to do with Daimler, Freightliner, Mack, Volvo, International, all that is manufactured down in Mexico. I think it's somewhere down in Puebla. They move it down to Monterrey. It crosses the border, and so all that is done in Mexico already. You know, like there's an insane amount of things that are already done in Mexico in terms of manufacturing and nearshoring and all those things. And so, like, this has been a problem for decades, right? But it's got to bring it to light, and it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. Like, at least back in the day, you could still compete.
Right.
You could still compete.
Now you're seeing it.
But now, I mean, that's how they say, like, those are the negative effects of globalization. Like, okay, you have things that how you said, you have your manufacturer for your clothing.
Yeah.
You could probably send that to Asia,
make it cheaper,
and make more money for you, but at the cost of American jobs, at the cost of American livelihood, at the cost of people not being able to feed their family, at the cost of more people. I'm sorry, but like, because I don't want to call some people like parasites and stuff like that, but people going for handouts and living on welfare when they're able-bodied people who are just stripped from their desire to even compete, right? Which that is in and of itself a whole different topic, but a lot of people just resort to that. You know, your job moved overseas. Well, the government's offering welfare. The government's going to offer me food stamps and this and that. And there's some people like I will never in my entire life ask for a handout, because at the end of the day, who pays for that? You know, it's like a sticker I saw one time. Don't steal my tools. I need them to pay for your welfare.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where we're at. We want to work. We don't want any handouts. We don't want any handouts. We want an even playing field, and it needs to be done. You know, it needs to be done, and it's a very grave matter for
I
us.
appreciate you guys for being on the show. You know, and just
Yeah,
being
man.
here and having this conversation, because it's important conversations, and I think a lot of people are going to agree. And the biggest part about it all, at the end of the day, is it's just safety, man.
Safety.
You know, it's safety.
Safety,
That's
exactly.
it. You know, and I think it means a little bit more coming from someone that speaks the language, knows the culture.
Yeah.
You know, not by doing this video, you're saying that Mexican people should not be truck drivers.
Oh no. Like,
It's about.
I don't care who comes to this country. We all come to this country for the same thing, to chase our own American dream.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And for some people, it's not even that. They come over here because they have the opportunity to work here, even though they make half of. You know, I've spoken to Mexican drivers, and they get paid about 3,000 pesos, 4,000 pesos a week, which is that is like $200 to $300 a week.
$300 a week.
Yes. So if you pay them $800 to come over here, of course they're gonna spend 2-3 months, because they're gonna go back to Mexico, and they're gonna. It's a lot of money.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. So it makes sense for them, and it makes a whole hell of a lot more sense for the carrier. Why? Because they know that other carriers can't compete. If they're paying American wages, I mean, I think it's probably illegal if I wanted to pay somebody $800 a week for the work that we do.
That's
You
why
know,
you
like
see sometimes a load on a load board that pays 95 cents.
Exactly.
And someone's still taking it.
who's taking it? People that can.
That's right.
People that can.
I heard that.
And
I think people,
then
this is a great conversation, guys. No, I appreciate it, you know, and it's one of those things where we just need to bring things to light and have the conversation. You know, some people, they get upset about certain things, but hey, that's where conversations go.
I mean, I don't care. I'm upset. So if you want to get upset about this problem, get upset all you want. I'm upset. I'm upset that we have to feel not job insecure, or like we might be getting pushed out, but that's exactly what's happening. You know, like I've talked to people who are picking up where we're picking up, or dropping off where we're dropping off, and they don't speak the language. They don't speak English. Like they don't. And from what I'm understanding now is a lot of times, and I don't care, right? Maybe you don't speak the language and you have a dispatcher that does, but that's in and of itself another topic. And I don't care about it as long as you're not watering down rates. Like if you're getting paid fair, and it's fair, and the rate we need to charge to operate is ballpark the same rate that you need to charge to operate, I'm all for it. Let's compete. But if, because you don't speak the language, because where you're from, because generally speaking, wherever anybody else is from, American money is a lot more money.
That's right.
You know, despite whatever's going on in the world, and the dollar is still the dollar. And so people come over here, and the dollar's still the dollar, and to them it means a lot more than us who are here, who actually know what it costs to live here. And it's getting a whole hell of a lot more expensive, you know. And so it's just like, and then you just have that. They come here, they get dollars, and they don't pay their taxes. They don't even, it's like my old man, he tells me, these guys don't even shower here, dude. They don't even create revenue. They literally, I don't know if you've ever seen them, and because I have, they bring their buckets, and like, I don't care, you know, like anybody can do whatever they want. But it goes to show that they will save every penny they can to take it back to Mexico, which is fine. They should make a living too. You know, everybody should make a living. Everybody's entitled to that. But it shouldn't be at the cost of another person's livelihood.